Hi, this is Lauren from LSP Actions and welcome to video 2 using the LSP Signature Newborn Photoshop Action Suite. I'm going to give you a rundown of using the actions I would use to edit this image here. If you are stuck on using actions or you're a beginner, please watch video 1 where I give you an overview of how to use the actions. In this video I'm just going to go right ahead and edit this baby. So we can see here there are some little spots and flakes and scratches, pretty standard newborn skin here. There's some red coming up here, which is all pretty standard. This baby actually has pretty good skin, which is great. I don't advocate removing things like birthmarks or anything permanent, but any scratches and spots and flakes that are not going to be there by the time the parents come to view these images, you're much better off removing those, and LSP will help you do it rather than painstakingly do it by hand every single image. So I'm going to start off here on the brush section. I'm going to use Brighten Up Baby Soft Light. This is a nice soft brown that works well for all newborns. You ideally want the face to be brighter than the other areas of the body, so this will just help brighten up that face a little bit and add some focal point for the eyes. I'm using a white brush on 25% flow, 100% opacity, nice and soft, and I'll be using this for all the actions. Okay, I may add a subtle contrast there, add depth. This is a new one. This allows you to paint on depth in the shadows and the highlights to make baby pop even more. So for example, if you wanted a little bit more depth of field in there, you can paint this to really make baby pop. Let's see before and after there, so our contrast is nice. Now I'm coming down here, I'm going to reduce the reds, just to take some of these reds out of the skin on baby here. You will find that by correcting the lighting and upping the exposure, a lot of those reds will disappear anyway. A lot of the time redness on newborn can be down to underexposure. Not always for the hands and fingers, but a lot of the time redness in the face, you can lift that by adjusting the exposure by adding Brighten Up Baby. So I'm going to flatten this one down. In fact, I'm going to take a copy of the background and just add this to a new image just so I can show you later what we've done. So I'm going to click any one of these flatten buttons here to flatten it down. Now I'm going to play the Newborn Perfect Skin Base. So rather than going through with a patch or a clone or using filters or anything like that, this is going to take care of the skin for me in a way that plugins, like I say, filters or doing it by hand just cannot in the amount of time spent. So this will revolutionise your newborn skin editing if you don't use this one already. This is featured in the Newborn Skin Perfecto multi-layer base up here. I go through the multi-layer bases in the previous video. This action is actually playing so many commands. It does take around 20 seconds to run, but believe me, the wait is worth it. So you'll see here the black layer mask box. I simply grab my brush, zoom in and start painting. You can see the skin integrity is left intact, but any little spots, flakes, scratches, anything like that is softened down and removed. You see there, that one? Before and after. And yet we still have skin texture, so baby doesn't end up looking plastic or flat. I'm paying careful attention not to paint over the eyelashes because I want to keep those nice and sharp, but everything else, any little hairs, flakes, anything else that shouldn't be there is going. So I'm using a white brush to paint these on. You can use a black brush to hide any of these effects. You see there? Just notice there is a little one there. Get rid of that. A little hair. Anything else. So you can see before and after. If I zoom in on this cheek, for example, you will see the difference that's made to baby's skin without stripping the skin of all its details. And I'm going to flatten down again. Now I'm going to use the Creamy Soft Pale Skin action. This is for pale skin babies. There is also Creamy Velvet Dark Skin for darker skin babies, because we know that depending on the skin tone of the baby, you will be using different editing techniques to bring out that lovely natural skin tone. This little baby is very pale, so I'll be using the LSP Creamy Dreamy Skin Toner. Coming in here, and this will add a beautiful softness to the skin without stripping the colour or anything else. So if you really like that ultra soft newborn skin look, this action is for you. You have a sharpen up areas action included here, layer, sorry, which you can click on, and this will bring sharpness back to anywhere that you don't really want to add that creamy dreaminess to, for example the eyelashes and the eyebrows, but it will do so in a way that it won't add every flaw back in, it will just add that lovely pinch of sharpness there back to your images. So that's before and after. You see that lovely contrast glow that one is added in. You can also change the opacity too, to suit your image, and I'm going to flatten that one down. I could use all of these actions on this baby, but I'm just choosing the ones that I think appeal to this image the most. I'm going to play Go Away Red's Extra in the toning section, and I'm going to use that just to heal this patch of red here, and perhaps to take a little of this redness down out of the forehead and the centre of the face. You see it does this without stripping the colour. I can now use the patch tool just to kind of soften the edges up of this redness here. You could use the LSP Select and Fix action too to do this, but for this baby, for the sake of this video, I'm just coming in, just softening up the edges of that redness there. Oops. Okay. So now I'm going to sort these eyelids out. You'll often find in newborns, because their eyes are so big, newborns are born with eyes that are adult size. So you often get quite a deep shadow in the eye socket here, which can look quite a grey. So I've just played the LSP Lift Grey eye sockets in the Beautiful Eyes section. I'm just going to dab that over, and that will just lighten these shadows in the corner. Now I'm going to play Sharpen the Lashes and Details. And this will give me a nice sharpness to these eyelashes, which you can also use on other details. I like using it on the Cupid's bow here. Perhaps the eyebrows. This is where you can really start picking out those details of baby. And flatten down. Back to the skin section, I'd probably play Soft Skin Natural, just to really soften these cheeks up now. This is a nice natural softness. Or again, I might have played the Creamy Soft Pale Skin. It's up to you. But I'm just going for the natural soft now. Okay. So now what would I like to do? I think I'd like to brighten baby's face up a little more. So I'm going to come back up here to the lighting section and play Brighten Up Baby. Oh, I've just clicked it twice. My fault. Let me just remove that and start again. Okay, click it once. Absolutely my fault there. I do apologise. If you ever do that, you can simply just drag the action down and delete it. They're all separate layers, separate to your background, so no worries there. So I'm going to switch to a black brush here, take a little bit of the brightness down, and add it to the areas I would like to kind of bring the brightness in. So black hides, white shows. Okay, so we've added a nice jot of brightness to baby's skin now. I'm going to use the, on the manual section here, I'd like to fix this area. So I'm going to come down to the Blanket Fade paintbrush, and I'm going to play this action here, Blanket Fade. A box will pop up asking you to select the colour. You can click on the blanket or the fabric you'd like to paint onto. Don't choose something that's too dark, like this shadow here, or too bright, like this highlight up here. Choose something that's in the Goldilocks zone. So for me, that would be about there. Hit OK, the action plays out, and it gives you a blanket fade paint. So now I can paint this on over anywhere I'd like to fade the blanket. For example, around that area there, perhaps in here. Perhaps I'd like to fade it here, give a little bit of a depth of field to the image. Black hides it, white shows it. You may find some areas you wish to darken or lighten the fade depending on your image. And you can do that really easily. I will show you how. You can play darken or lighten areas here. So I'm going to play lighten areas because I would like to lift just a bit there. And I'm just going to take the blanket fade off the hair and flatten down again. So let's see where we were compared to where we are now. And super quick edit as well. You'd be a lot faster at editing than me because I've been doing this slowly while I've been talking. I'm going to come down here to the finishing touches. I'm going to play dramatic vignette just to bring that that halo in. A subtle contrast, I think, just to add a little bit more contrast to our image there. I may use bring up the lights, but I'm going to invert this to black because I just want to bring up the lights a little bit here. So there we go, that's using the finishing touches. You have some finishing overlays too, depending on your image, you may wish to use those. So again, let's see our before and after. You can see the skin integrity is still intact. The editing doesn't look overboard, which you often see. And that's using the LSP Signature Newborn Photoshop Action Suite, available at www.lsp-actions.com.